Greetings, followers. It is I, Cardinal Sin, here on Midnight to Midnight, episode number 3. So, what is Midnight to Midnight? Well, Midnight to Midnight is when I kind of let loose, go crazy. But tonight, or should I say this morning, we are going to have a giveaway based on the number of people that you in the audience can get to subscribe to my channel. So to help out, let's go ahead and give you the channel link. And then I would appreciate it if you would share the link in your Twitter, Facebook, whatever. And there it is in the chat. So the most people you get to be subscribers, if we get over to 300 or more, right now I'm at 294, so we only have 6 to go. There's going to be a awesome giveaway, but it is up to you to help get me over the hump, as it were. So please copy and share the link, and we will wait for some people to roll in. Hail Tim Possible. It's not Midnight Metal, man. It's just Midnight to Midnight. And I didn't know that My Chemical Romance is a punk band. I was not aware. Positive Candor, good to see you, my friend. Thank you. Please share the link that I put into the chat on your Twitter and your Facebook, etc., etc. And the most people that you bring to my channel to subscribe, we only need 6 more. Then I'm going to give away something remarkable that everybody is going to want. Jace, my friend, good to see you. Glad you're here. L'chaim, to life. A little Pinot Noir gets those creative juices flowing. So, retweet my tweet. Get the word out. Whatever you have to do, take your time. Go to Facebook and let people know about Midnight to Midnight, because that's what we're doing tonight. This is a pledge drive to get me, Cardinal Sin, to 300 subscribers. Should not be hard. We only have 6 to go. And then I'm going to give away something I shouldn't even give away. It's just, it's worth too much. But rather than sell it on eBay, I'm going to give it to you, my friends. Everyone will have an equal opportunity to win, and it'll be a fairly easy deal. Now, while we're waiting for people to roll in, and while I'm waiting for you, my good friends, to get the channel link onto Twitter, etc., let people know Cardinal Sin is doing Midnight to Midnight. This is going to rock. Devo rocks. Well, Allegabulis, go ahead and do what you can, my friend. Please share the link, which I put into the comments. Put it out on Twitter. I am a raging insomniac myself, so I understand what you're going through. But if you can just get the word out there, let people know Cardinal Sin's doing Midnight to Midnight, and it's a special one because we're going to do some mad giveaways. And while you guys are sharing that, I wanted to turn you on to a band that I'm a big fan of. If you're aware of The Prisoner, the TV show from 1967, then the new number 2 won't be a difficult idea for you to get your head around. This is the band of Danny Harrison, George Harrison's son. And it's very They Live oriented. If you've seen the movie They Live, then that's kind of what's going on. That's Danny there in the driver's seat, well, in the passenger seat in Britain. And when you look at the other side, it is chock full of They Live references. And it's just a cool looking deal. Is this what I'm giving away? No. I just wanted to turn you on to it because it's an awesome band. I think you guys will really like it. As a matter of fact, I was recently introduced to the new number 2's second album, The Fear of Missing Out. Again, fronted by Danny Harrison, who is George Harrison's son. Now, one thing I'm not real hot about the new number 2, especially this album, is there are very few real drums. And if you know anything about Cardinal Sin, you know that I am a punk rock drummer. So for me, it's real drums all the way. Then recently, I bought this from Amazon, and this is his solo album, Danny Harrison, in Parallel. And that's what it looks like on the inside. And of course, it has a little booklet that comes with it, I would expect, or maybe not. But this is really cool. I am a big fan of the Beatles, and I'm somewhat a fan of Beatles children like Julian Lennon, Sean Lennon, and of course Danny Harrison. And I was introduced to this band by a friend of mine who moved from Lawrence to LA, and the new number 2 was sort of the house band at this bar, and he came back every day, and he talked to Danny, and it's startling how much he looks and sounds like his dad. Hail Darius Munchausen. In case you're not aware, please grab the link in the chat, tweet it out. We are trying to get as many people here as possible. This is my push to get over 300 tonight. And if we do, there are going to be some lucky winners. So please grab that link and tweet it out and let people know Cardinal Sin's doing a midnight to midnight, and this one's kind of special. It's only number 3, but I've got some stuff I want to get off my chest, and we're going to have a giveaway. And it's based on the number of people that you can get to subscribe to my channel. If you have alternate channels, that's fine with me. Switch over, subscribe. I've been doing this since October, and I think I should be over 300 subscribers by now. So if you will help me out, then we will all have a really good time. So, hello, Positive Candor. Of course, Tim Possible, my good friend. Jace is here. Elagabulus's Ambien is kicking in, but hopefully he helped share the link. And, of course, my good friend Darius Munchausen is here. Grab that link, fellas. Men, women, gentlemen, ladies, however you identify. This is going to be a special night. So let's take a little break, grab that link, and get it out there and say, this is the big push. If we get Cardinal Sin over 300 subscribers, that's only 6 more, then there's going to be a giveaway. Or you can just retweet the tweet that I made. Hail, hail, hail. Well, hail. All right, so this is something that I'm going to share for the first time here. I'm a digital artist, and this is a postcard for one of my exhibitions that was at a place called the Bourgeois Pig, and this is a self-portrait called Implant. Maybe you can see the implant there. You may notice a painting behind me, Fish Out of Water. That's 26 by 32, framed in a hardwood frame. And there are a whole bunch more that you can't see. And for some reason, when I started getting the new computer outfitted, the dual display stopped working. And I spent a bunch of time just before the show trying to figure out why it's not working. But showtime means you go on. So cheers. And here's to getting the link out. Elagabalus, that was a play on words of Stravinsky's Rite of Spring. Yes. It happened to be a springtime exhibition of my work. So it was kind of a play on words, if you will. Let's get some folks in here. Let's get some subscribers to the channel. Like I said, if you have an alternate channel, just switch over, subscribe. If that's what it takes, that'd be awesome. I'd really appreciate it. So you guys know that I'm a dyed-in-the-wool punk rocker. I grew up not only listening to, but playing punk. And I was going to share some with you, but because my second display isn't working, it's not going to behave. So Darius Munchausen. Okay, Cardinalson, I shared the link to my Darius Munchausen Facebook page. Thank you. I appreciate that. And we are going to go all night if we have to get my subscribers over the 300 mark. Now, remember, I do a lot of shows. Everybody knows about Cardinalson and Friends on Sundays between 3 and 5 Central Time. It usually goes 6+ hours, but usually at least it's scheduled for between 3 and 5 Central. And then I have a show called Into the Fringe, where I less an interview than a casual conversation, but I interview luminaries in the field of UFOs, the paranormal. It's kind of like the Exozone, except we do it every Thursday. And we had a lucky winner in our last show when Peter Robbins was my guest. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate that, Darius. And I also have a show that is called Masters of the Genre, where I interview science fiction authors, genre creators, upcoming guests. There are going to be novelist and cyberpunk writer Pat Cadigan, who's a friend of mine. Going to be talking to all kinds of really cool guests. And on Into the Fringe, we're going to have Kathleen Marden and Christopher O'Brien, whose book I don't have handy, and lots of other guests. I also have The Unboxing. There was a brand new episode of The Unboxing today called I'm a Big Fan. Wink, wink. And I also have Midnight to Midnight, obviously. I have another show I've only done one episode of called Cardinalson Rants. And that's just when I've had it and I can't fucking take it anymore. You know, Star Trek Discovery, this new Star Wars bullshit. They've totally destroyed Doctor Who. Don't even get me started, or we're going to have to change this to Cardinalson Rants. But that's what that show's about. And I also have, some other shows here and there that are shows that are equally as important, but probably less common. So Tim Possible says, Cardinalson, you should try to get Gary from Nerdrotic on Into the Fringe. He's all into the UFO stuff. And Darius Munchausen agrees that Into the Fringe is great. So here's the story. Maybe you guys don't know. I was the producer for the Exozone, and one of the co-hosts was very busy and didn't know we had a guest, didn't know we had a show till the very last minute. And I decided I'm just going to go ahead and do this myself. I have all the contacts. I know a lot of people in the UFO / paranormal community. And I think so far, so good. Upcoming guests on Into the Fringe include, like I said, Kathleen Marden, who co-wrote several books with Stanton Friedman. I guess there's one that I can't really talk about yet because he is going around his agent, so I don't have to pay thousands of dollars to have him on. But it's Mike Barra, so you don't want to miss that. Cardinal Sin, if you ever need to run up stream time, I'll be more than happy to share with you my failed exploits as a punk rock frontman, 8485. Didn't know you produced Exozone episodes. Yes, I did. And Alagabulus, that sounds like a lot of fun. I think we should do that. So let's go ahead and keep getting the word out. Keep grabbing the link. And let's get the subs over 300. I'm going to refresh the screen here. Well, we've got 295 subscribers. That's one more than we had. So keep it up. Keep up that good work. I appreciate it. Yo, you know what I'm saying? And actually, it was Gary from Nerdrotic who kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say flaked out, but he was caring for Mom Roddick and going through some tough times, just very busy. And I had 6 weeks of guests lined up, which I just transferred to this show. We've had Micah Hanks on. We've had Peter Robbins on. And Ivan Ivanovich won the giveaway of the DVD documentary that Peter just made, brand new, about the life and mysterious death of James Forrestal, our first Secretary of Defense. And I'm trying to think of where I put my copy. Perhaps it's over here. Let me look. I'm not seeing it. One of the reasons why I'm having so much trouble with the dual display that I usually run is the video card is nothing special, because those goddamn Bitcoin miners are jacking the prices up. So I'll be selling this on eBay. This is a Zotac video card. Sorry. I guess that's like the right side up. And we've got 2 DVI inputs and an HDMI input, as well as a display port. This is a GTX 662 gig GDDR5, which, according to what I'm seeing online, will go for somewhere between $199 and $299. That's how incredibly askew this whole business is. So my new computer is built. It's all done, except it has a crappy video card in it. And what I'm going to try to do is take the video card from this machine and put it into the other machine and see if I can crossfire the two together, because they're virtually identical. That would give me 6 gig of GDDR5 RAM, which is not really what I'm going for, but funds have kind of dried up. Poof. So that's the story. So I appreciate everyone who is here. Darius Munchausen is 297. Oh, I have 297 subscribers now. Excellent. Let's roll that up. Nice. Very nice. That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. Hey, Cardinal Sin, I enjoy up-and-coming channels. I'd love to see you on streams or chats by 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser, Comics Division, and Clobbering Times, etc. Could be great exposure for you. Actually, I've had 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser, Comics Division, and Clobbering Times on my Sunday show, Cardinal, Sin, and Friends. But you're right. I should probably ask them to put me on their channel and let me on their channel panel. So that's a really good idea. So let's get to the giveaways. For your help in getting me over 300 tonight, one of the gifts is a 13 compact disc set of The Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien. It's a pretty heavy beast, but I will pay to ship it to you wherever in the world you live. It is complete and unabridged. Look at that. You can listen for as long as you want. It's a beautiful set. Comes with a really nice little pamphlet. So this is one of the giveaways we have for helping me get over 300 subscribers. Put that somewhere safe. So for some reason, my other display isn't functioning. It's like when I copied the old computer onto the new computer, it's like half of the computer stayed on the old computer and half of it went to the new computer. So maybe the settings for dual displays is on the other computer. I don't know. It's a beast for sure. I will go get it and show it to you. And here it is. It's a pretty good shot of the back. And it has a side panel where you can see all the cool stuff light up. Got a Ryzen 9 in there. And the front's not remarkable in really any way. But the top reminds me of Alien. So it's actually pretty light considering all the stuff that's in it. But the video card that's in there is one that I bought on eBay for 99 bucks. In case you couldn't hear me, it's got 64 gig of RAM. It has a 1 terabyte system drive, which is an SSD, and then it has an 8 terabyte regular 5700 RPM hard drive. And when I transferred all that stuff, it all went onto the system drive, which is annoying. And of course, it's a one-use only piece of software. And it took forever. So I guess one of the things that I want to kind of gripe about is that it's impossible to find GPUs, video cards that aren't absolutely crazy prices. Even on eBay, they're just, outrageously priced. AMD has been saying for the last couple of months, I think, that you'll be able to buy directly from AMD. But every day that I go, just out of stock, and the prices are, it doesn't matter what the prices are because they're imaginary. And that's fucking bullshit. I don't dig that. Now, I've never really been a big gamer, but I know some folks that probably would be interested in this. This is Sid Meier's Civilization Complete. I believe this is Civ 5. Civ 3. We're going to be giving that away tonight. I don't know if we have any Warcraft fans, but this is the Black Temple raid deck. Which is pretty cool. And it's got all the cards in it and a cool brochure and kind of a badass thing for anybody that's into World of Warcraft. Black Temple raid deck. We're going to be giving that away. So it may take a while, but we're going to go ahead and be here until we go over 100, and then giveaways will flow forth like wine from good kegs. Let's see where we are as of now. Still at 297. So we have some work to do. Tim Possible says, you write the script for the Kylo and Luke scene. I will do it. All right. That's a deal. Ordered Kylo gear for the talk. Raylo's been hitting me up a bunch. I understand that. Darius says, Tim Possible's playing with fire. Be careful with them Raylos. Because Raylos hit him up. And Alagabula says, calling it a night, Cardinal Sin. I hope I see 300 plus subs the next time I catch you on YouTube. Thank you, my friend. Much appreciated. And have a good sleep. Because we're going to be here all morning, if that's what it takes. I'm tired of this sub 300 subscriber bullshit. I should be at 3,000 to be honest, but right now we're just going to strive to get to 300, which I probably should have thought about a movie tie-in to the movie 300, but I don't have a copy of that. Although I should. So, what's coming up? I hear you saying, Cardinal Sin, what you got on tap? Well, for Amiga fans out there, I have some interviews, some roasting of Amiga executives from, I think, 2001. And I have a lot of Amiga content that's coming out. We're going to be starting to slice up interviews that I've already done so that they're in more digestible, amounts. And I'm going to start a new channel called Vault of Cardinal Sin. And that's where the live streams will go, just like Doomcock has the Harvey Zone and Gary has Nerderotic Live. That'll be the backup, so I won't get counted against with the algorithm, because it turns out that not all that many people watch a 6.5 hour live stream all the way through. So that's perfectly understandable. So I will edit, between 8 and 14-minute segments from all the stuff that I've done, and I'll probably pick maybe 6 or 7 of the best ones. Also, this is a thing that I haven't mentioned before, but Doomcock is going to be coming on my channel for about an hour, and we're going to have a little back and forth, and I'm sure that will help raise the numbers. But for tonight, we're still focusing on that 300 number. So again, please get that channel link out there. I know it's a little long. I didn't choose it. There's a jillion bands that are called Cardinal Sin, so I kind of leapt before I looked. But I think I'm like number 3 when you search on Cardinal Sin now. I'm not sure. Depends on who's searching, I suppose. But if you can get the link out and let people know, Twitter, Facebook, whatever your social media is, Cardinal Sin is going full steam ahead. 300 subscribers, and then the giveaways begin. What did I do with? I don't know where that is. So I mentioned earlier that you guys know that I'm a punk rocker. Grew up a punk rocker, watching punk bands, playing in punk bands. I also put out fanzines. And my fanzine was called Nuke. This came out in March of 1985. This is Nuke number 1. On the back, it says, "Shish kebab? No thanks. I've had enough." And when you fold it in half, you can mail it. So this interview, this issue has interviews and all kinds of fun collage work that I did. This was right in the middle of the Reagan era when I was a teenager. We have the monthly horoscope and some preachy vegetarian stuff. And for all of the people that are interested in Supergirl, there actually was a Supergirl show back in the day with Helen Slater. And so I covered that. And we have an interview with a band called Otto's Chemical Lounge. Very cool band. It was a lot of fun to interview them. And since this was the first issue, I didn't have a whole lot. It's pretty thin. But as we moved on, we got a little bit better. Number 2, this is from January of 86. Things are starting to look a little better. We have an interview with Tex and the Horseheads. And that was done by my friend Jason Arnett, who's also a great writer of science fiction. And here the contents and features are a little bit more together. It was pointed out to me the other day that I didn't include myself on the contributors list, but that's because I was the editor. So a friend of mine, Brian Batchelder, wrote these really cool stories called stories. And they're kind of Twilight Zone, bizarre, surreal. Some more of his stories. Unfortunately, Brian took his life. He ate a shotgun. He left a note, but I've never known what was in it. Here we have the horoscope, which is just snarky, what you reading this horoscope for? You're smarter than that type stuff. And here I examine, it's too bad Rod Thunderheart isn't here. I examined the hardcore wrestling connection, which was at least very, very real. We have some other zine reviews, and we have some more collage work by different artists. And there are only one copy each of these. So if I'm going to give any of these away, I'm going to have to remove the staples and copy the front and back very carefully. And put them back together. There's the Tex and the Horseheads interview. And Texacala Jones, the singer, was so named because her father could have been from Texas and he could have been from California. So that's why she's called Texacala. It's a long interview. It's good stuff. And then, of course, this is where I started to get a little slicker. Got my advertising in gear. Record reviews, Dead Kennedys, Alternative Tentacles sent me stuff. I remember a very interesting meeting that I had with Jello Biafra of the Dead Kennedys when they came to town. Being a record collector, I had a stack of stuff for him to sign. And he had just come down from the stage. I think it was a spoken word event because I had seen the Dead Kennedys as my first, show in 1984. But this was like maybe 86 or 87. And he said, "I'll sign one." That's my best Jello Biafra. And we are at 298, according to Darius Munchausen. Let's just double check that. Roll those bones. 298. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that, my friend. So anyway, I decided that I was going to have him sign a test pressing because I worked in used record stores, like 3 different used record stores. I was the manager. Actually, 4, technically. And it was a test pressing of the Dead Kennedys. What is the name of that album? In God We Trust, Inc. And it's got money all over it. And he looked at it when he took it out of the jacket, and it was just white on both sides. And he said, I didn't know any of these made it out there. And then he signed it and he handed it back to me and sort of walked off in a huff, like it was, my problem. All right, now here we have nuke number 3. This is my fanzine from, I didn't know if it was going to come out in August or September, so I called it Ogtember. This has an interview with the Meat Puppets, some more stories, and stories by The Plague, who is another friend of mine. And I started a relationship with Discord Records, so I got the Government Issue ad in there. Government Issue is an awesome band. If you haven't heard their stuff, you should. This is the record review page, which actually contains real record reviews. In other issues, I made them up. So here we have an ad for the Rhythm Pigs and a show review of a local show featuring the Micronauts. And if you've seen my 2 Mile Death Plunge footage on Cardinal Sin's bands playlist, then the front man is also the front man for the Micronauts. So we have some more ads, and we have this interview with the Meat Puppets. By now, the fanzine is starting to look a little cleaner. As a matter of fact, Maximum Rock and Roll called it sterile, which means it's easy to read, but doesn't have enough artistic stuff in it, I guess. I don't know. So that helped kind of change the direction of where the zine went in the following issue. And we have some cartoons and comics. Again, by my friend Rusty, who did the cover. And a story called What the Fuck, I'll Print Anything, or another story about poodles. And of course, the end of the cartoon. And these are in the same condition that they were when they came out. So here we have short stories by my friends that are actually very good, considering that they were young and inexperienced. Then we have the Weekly World Nuke. I was really into the Weekly World News, and we had a lot of cool stuff, like aliens ate my hibachi. The Weekly World News was started, by the way, by a guy from the CIA. So a lot of the UFO news and stuff in there wasn't untrue. And we have more ads, more collage. And of course, the horoscopes are now getting big time. And I think this is just all ads here. And then the same deal as before. We have the way that you fold it so that you can put it in the mail. And the pièce de résistance, as they say. This was Nuke number 4. I made 500 copies of these. The back has a big ad for Jodie Foster's Army. And it has interviews with Naked Raygun, Toxic Reasons, KGB, and Ignition. All great bands. KGB is a band that was from Germany, and they toured with Toxic Reasons. So this is getting a little bit more upscale. And by now, we are looking at, I don't remember when this one came out. If you've ever heard of a chick tract, those little Christian tracts that are cartoons that you leave in men's bathrooms and stuff like that. This one was about punk rockers all go to hell. So I reprinted that. Thought that was pretty cool. Then there is a photo of Einstürzende Neubauten, one of my favorite bands, who played at the Outhouse. And the Naked Raygun interview, which was a lot of fun. Those guys are a great band from Chicago, and we had a lot of fun. So for running this ad, I got a wide, long deck skateboard. Because I'm tall, I have a high center of gravity, so those little boards don't really do the trick for me. And I used that thing, once I put trucks and wheels on it, I rode that thing almost till it wore out. And I had my friend William S. Burroughs sign it for me. Here's this issue's Weekly World Nuke. More Weekly World Nuke collage, mostly about punk rock. And my infatuation with aliens and UFOs. Here's our interview with Ignition, DC punk band. And in this issue, I tried to incorporate some photos into the copy so it wouldn't be so sterile. And I was somewhat successful. If I had sent this one to Maximum Rock and Roll for them to review, they probably would have said mostly sterile. Now, don't forget to grab that link. Our whole deal tonight is getting me over 300 subscribers. So take that link, put it in your Twitter, let them know Cardinal Sin is on midnight to midnight. We're going all night tonight or until we get me over the 300 subscriber hump. We are currently at 299. That's pretty close. But do me a favor. Please put that link into your Twitter and your other social media. Jace, that sounds like a great idea. And I really enjoyed seeing the footage of your Norwegian death metal singing. Yeah, we should definitely have a punk rock stream for sure. So here there's some more interview and an ad for the fanzine. I actually just copy and pasted a UPC symbol from something. I don't know what it was. And we have an ad for the band Adrenaline OD. And then my friend Don Murphy contributed a comic called Light Bright, who is a superhero. And it's very funny. It's highly detailed, as you can see. So I have an ad for Wax Trax Records for any of you that are into Wax Trax. And RAR, which did cassette only. And then we have the interview with Toxic Reasons and KGB, which is an awesome interview. Here we're getting a little bit less sterile, showing Toxic Reasons really punking it out. So I started interviewing people really from a very young age, which serves me well for what I'm doing now. If I can only get one more subscriber, we'll start handing out gifts. More interview, probably an ad. There's a live photo and an ad for the band. And some more ads, and then a cartoon by my friend Don Murphy about is the ideal American male vanishing, which is a lot of fun. This very issue is going to be one of the giveaways tonight for those folks that help me get over 300. But you got to be in the chat. Nobody walks away and gets a prize. So nuke number 4 will be another gift for getting me over the hump. And this is just some writing of mine. Here there's actually a set list for Wayback Machine, but on the other side it has a flyer. I have a bunch of flyers. This is another one. Kind of hard to see because there's a set list on the back. So yeah, I opened for Green Day. I opened for the Descendants 5 times. We went on little mini tours over the weekend and got pretty close. We were in talks with a record executive from TVT Records. That's about as close as we got. All right. Oh, that cover, man, and thanks. Thank you, Jace. Appreciate the compliments. Let's check the old count here. 299 subscribers. So the show goes on. And we need more folks in the chat. Go grab somebody. Roommate, brother, sister, father. Have them subscribe. Doesn't matter. And if there's only one person here, then you get to choose what you want. Jace540 asks, would you ever make music again like punk, etc.? Yes. As a matter of fact, I have. I released a solo album in 2008, and it was released under a Creative Commons license. So the way I released it was through the internet, although I had CD copies, and I sort of used tape loops and, beats, riffs, bass lines. And then over that, I would put spoken word stuff. So it was sort of teaching music, stuff that you put in on the background. And when you listen to it over and over, sort of the message seeps in. It's message music, as they say. Thank you for sharing the link. I appreciate that. But Midnight to Midnight is so much more than just Cardinal Sin talking about getting over 300 subscribers. There's also drinking. Yesterday, I got my second jab, and I felt just fine until today. Today, I was wiped out all day long. Stiff, sore. It was crazy. Yeah, Jace, we can hook you up with some of the solo music. One of the things that I found interesting, the way I released it, it was, I think, on SoundCloud or whatever they had for that in 2008. And I got to see where it went worldwide because people, DJs, whoever, would, borrow from what I made, and then they would, put it into their own stuff, which is why I released it on a Creative Commons license. So I got to see it was big in France. It was big in the Netherlands. Spain dug it. And then in reduced amounts, I think we had one or two Brits or people in the UK, and one in like Nigeria or something. I don't know. So what now? What else should we talk about? I know what we can talk about. I have a PlayStation 3. This is what I'm currently playing. Fallout 3. Probably my favorite game. Comes with a Vault Dweller's Survival Guide. Which is a ton of fun. And you can see what a big Fallout fan I am right behind me. Got the Fallout box, retail box, that only went out to game stores and stuff like that. And I've never seen another one. I have no idea what it's worth. But there's lots of cool stuff in here about Fallout in the game. I really enjoy it. I've beaten it. I've played it over and over with different sorts of characters. And I also have what I've heard is a really great game, Batman Arkham Asylum 3D. exclusive play as the Joker. This is the Game of the Year edition. That's what Batman's supposed to look like. Maybe, Jace, looks like maybe you've played that one. This is kind of cool. I got these when I bought a Marvel Blu-ray. This one has Captain America before the Super Soldier Serum. Here we have Guardians of the Galaxy. That one's pretty cool. And Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And one from Iron Man 3. Which I didn't like as much as Iron Man 2. But hey, what are you going to do? All right, so we are trying to get Cardinal Sin over the hump of 300 subscribers. By hook or by crook, we will. I appreciate the help. And if you are in the chat when that goal is reached, which we are one away from, you will get to choose from the gifts that I have offered so far. And we have the World of Warcraft Black Temple Raid deck. That is a giveaway. We have a 3 CD set of Sid Meier's Complete Civilization 3. And of course, the prize to beat all prizes, J.R.R. Tolkien's The Silmarillion audio book. This is a 13 compact disc set. And if you are into J.R.R. Tolkien, then this is the set for you. All CDs and boxes are present and accounted for. I will ship that to you wherever you live. So those are some of the get-in gifts that we are ready to give out for your help in getting me over the 300 subscriber hump. Jay says, love those games. Did have them on Xbox and have it on PS4 and PC. Loved the story and so much. Pretty nice. I haven't played the Arkham Asylum game yet. I liked Iron Man 2. Iron Man 3, it's just like more Iron Man suits. You know, they kind of did that a little bit in the second one. Like, more Iron Man is better. If one Iron Man is good, then more are better. And then by 3, their entire army. I just, it didn't do it for me. It's, more is better is not a great storytelling strategy as far as I'm concerned. So, we've got folks in the chat. If you'll do me a favor and grab this link and put it on your Twitter, your Facebook, whatever. When we get over 300, when we get to 300, whoever's in the chat will get to choose what they want. So that's what tonight's Midnight to Midnight is about. It's about getting me to the 300 subscriber mark. And we have some great gifts available. So please grab that link right there and put it on your Twitter and tell people Cardinal Sin is having a total midnight to midnight shindig with giveaways and all kinds of gifts and cool stuff. Tim Possible is back. He was being hit up by Raylos. Anybody else that's in the chat, please leave a comment so I know that you're there, and help me out by putting the link to this live stream in your Twitter, Facebook, etc., and let them know big giveaways from Cardinal Sin to get one more subscriber. And I'll wait while you do that. I appreciate all the help. I really do. And then the other gift that we have is an authentic issue of Nuke number 4, my fanzine from the 80s, with all kinds of cool interviews and stuff that happened back in the day, like Satanic Rituals of Punk Rock Exposed and Cockadoodle Doom. Fun stuff. I had a blast making these. I actually have Nuke number 5 in a drawer. It's all made up and ready to go. I just never printed it. And it does have an interview with Government Issue, and their singer is dead. He died of cancer a few years ago, which is very sad. Thank you, Zach7. Appreciate it. Let him know. Midnight to midnight. Cardinal Sin is giving stuff away just off the hook. And you can retweet my tweet. You can retweet others' tweets, or you can just put it up there on your own. And once we get to 300, then I will start the giveaway process. Yes. Yeah, I'm really glad that I have him on tape. I've interviewed him and I have him on tape because it's an interview that no one's heard. And we were just sort of lying in the grass together. And I was asking him questions like what his musical influences were. John Stab is the name of the singer for Government Issue. Was my favorite band at the time. All right. Looks like we are on 302 subs right now. Let's go ahead and take a look. We will refresh. And we have 302 subscribers. Right on. That's excellent. Very good. Thank you. Just what I needed. Wendy Webb, I'm so glad to see you. Thanks for coming. I hope that you're healed up or healing up and getting back to healing others. That's important. So, as we have been discussing for latecomers, this is my pledge drive to get over 300 subscribers. So please grab that link, put it in your Twitter, and let people know Cardinal Sin is giving away prizes. We're already over 300 people, subscribers. So it's going to be giveaway time pretty soon. I will let you do that, and I will be right back. All right, sports fans. Look who's here. Lawrence Martin. Hey, man, how's it going? You're right. That didn't take long. Not at all. So, Lawrence, if you don't mind, put this link into your Twitter, your Facebook, etc. Let people know that Cardinal Sin is doing a midnight to midnight show and giving away some freaky deaky prizes. Because, man, I'll tell you something. Getting subscribers on YouTube, very hard. It's confusing, difficult. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if it's all worth it. And then I realize that it is. It's just crazy. Wowie, wow, wow. It's nuts. I do have some good coffee, as a matter of fact. Thank you, Lawrence. Appreciate that. Thank you, Wendy. Much appreciated. So, here's what's on offer. Civilization 3, award-winning game by Sid Meier. For the gamers out there, tabletop gamers, if you are into the World of Warcraft, we have the Black Temple Raid deck. It's one of the gifts that you may choose for helping me get over 300 subscribers. Maybe I should have shot for 310, huh? Got all the cards. Very cool booklet. And the art on this thing is just awesome. I have no idea what it's worth. I really don't. But it comes in a really nice set. And of course, we have the complete, unexpurgated 13 compact disc set of the Silmarillion audio book. It's all the J.R.R. Tolkien that you can stand and maybe more. Because I think it's important to give back to the community. That's what this channel is all about. And another choice is my fanzine from the 80s, Nuke number 4. So that is another that you can choose from. Gulag for life. I'll go retweet you now. Thank you. Make sure and let them know Cardinal Sin is having a midnight to midnight giveaway party. Get here. Share that link. Tweet it. Put it on Facebook. Whatever. And just let them know it's a crazy party. There's alcohol. There's giveaways. Man, we're just going to go crazy. Yes, you may ask. It is from my personal collection, yes. Hey, Dave GS Sound. How you doing? Jace used to be a World of Warcraft gamer. May the punk be with you. Yeah, and may the Sith be with you. The artificial holiday of May the 4th is kind of silly. Okay, so who do we still have here? Zach7 says to Jace, I spent years of my life on World of Warcraft. Well, if you want, you can spend some more with the Black Temple raid deck. What is cooler than that? So let me know if you're still in the chat. I see 4. That could include the bot. So type something in. Let me know that you're there. I see Jace is there. Gulag for life. Are you still here? I know Zach7 is still here. You got to engage. Let me know what's happening so I can continue the giveaway, the love, back and forth. You know, I'll tell you what, as a musician, a professional musician of 25 years, there is, when you're in a really good band, and I was fortunate enough to be in bands of lots of different kinds, and they were all with very technically proficient musicians. Growing up in a college town, there are, bass players and guitarists aplenty, but if you're the drummer, and you're a townie, you get to play with all of them. And there's a certain feeling when things are going really well between the band. If the band is really tight and well rehearsed, there's a circuit that develops between the band and the audience. And the audience is getting into it and dancing, and they're pushing up toward the front of the stage, and that energy comes back to the members of the band, and it just sort of recirculates. And there's nothing better than performing in that kind of a situation. It's better than sex. And I realize what I'm saying there. So midnight to midnight, number 3 is the operative word here. 3 standing for 300. Make sure and get that link out, tweet it, Facebook it, Instagram it. I don't care. Let's get as many people here as we can, as many subscribers as possible. Cardinal Sin is doing a midnight to midnight of furious capacity. And this one will be one to remember, my friends. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Alcohol. Pa. Well, hey, man, I live in Kansas. I'm surrounded by states that have either recreational or medicinal, but Kansas was the last state in the Union to repeal prohibition, and it did so 10 years after the state before it. So there's some fucked up things in Kansas. CBD oil is legal here, but if there's a roach in your car, you go to jail. That's just the way it is, which is unfortunate. Skull. Okay. We have 7 people, or 6 plus the bot. Thanks very much for the help. Again, what we're doing tonight is grabbing this link, putting it out in your Twitter or your Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and telling people, you better get over here to midnight. Cardinal Sin is giving away crazy shit. So for your help, I will give you some pretty cool stuff. So help me out. Well, I'm not monetized yet, so I don't have a way to chat or super chat. However, if you would like to tip me because the Stream Elements tip jar is not working, I don't know why, you may do so here. And any amount is appreciated. $1, $5, whatever. I am drinking Pinot Noir from a Cooper and Thief glass. Without the stem, it doesn't spill. It's easier. Hey, look who's here. PJ is here. You want to talk to me, not tip me. I get it. PJ, just to let you know, we are celebrating my getting over 300, which we just did in the last 45 minutes, by taking the link and tweeting it out and letting people know, come on into Cardinal Sins Midnight to Midnight, because I'm giving away some very groovy prizes, baby. Yeah. Sorry, I haven't worked on that one for a long time. But if you would tweet that out, I would be very appreciative. All right. So let's see who's been here the longest. And who is still here? Is Tim still here? If Tim is still here, he gets first choice. And again, we are giving away my fanzine Nuke number 4, or Civilization 3, Sid Meier's game, which still works on modern PCs. We are giving away the World of Warcraft Black Temple raid deck, which is Trey okay. And if you so choose, the complete and unabridged Silmarillion 13 CD set audiobook, which is very cool. With all the glory of the first age itself. When elves and men roamed a world set spinning through space by the haunting music of supernatural choirs. Slip through the shadows, and you too may catch the whisper of harp song on the winds of the high air above the mists of the world. Very cool set. Okay, Tim is here. Awesome. Wonderful. So Tim, because you have been here the longest, you get to pick your giveaway. Silmarillion audiobook, which I will ship anywhere in the world. The World of Warcraft Black Temple raid deck. Sid Meier's Civ 3. Or Nuke number 4, the fanzine that I created in all of its glory. It has interviews with Naked Raygun, Toxic Reasons, KGB, Ignition. I've been interviewing people for a very, very long time, which I think has stood me in good stead for what I do now. So, Tim, which one would you like? Number 3. Which one is number 3? Nuke number 4? Is that the one you want? How many hours are the audiobooks? Good question. There's 13 discs. Includes an exclusive keepsake brochure and map of Bellerand and the lands to the north. It does not say on the outside what the running time is. Let's take a look at the brochure, and we will find out. Complete and unabridged. Let's see, there's 78 minutes on a CD. Is that right? Oh, wow. Cool. Look at this. Look at that great map that comes with the Silmarillion. That's really cool. It doesn't say. Printed in USA, not for sale. So looks like some of the giveaways are pretty exclusive. So if you have helped get the word out and help me get over 300 subscribers tonight, which I really appreciate, then I will... sorry, I lost my train of thought because I'm looking at what you guys are saying. No, the one after. Tell us more about your fanzine and what you've done in the past. Well, PJ, you kind of missed that segment. You may want to go back in the stream after it's over, because I kind of already did that. But I will briefly recap for you latecomers. Since I grew up as a punk rocker in the Midwest, and I live in Lawrence, Kansas, which is where my friend William S. Burroughs retired, I was not only a member of the punk scene in the sense that I was a musician in between 2 and 3 dozen different bands, but I also put out fanzines. This is the first one, Nuke number 1. I did not know you did sound for Naked Raygun. That's very cool. Expand on your writing. I can do that. We have Nuke number 2. And things are starting to class up a little bit by Nuke number 3. And then, of course, we have Nuke number 4, which is the one that I made 500 copies of and has interviews with Naked Raygun, Toxic Reasons, KGB, Ignition, etc. We are doing a Star Wars story. Thanks, Jace, for the hugs. Back at you. Appreciate the love. Luke Skywalker, Kylo Ren story. I'm thinking maybe Ben Solo, how he became Kylo Ren. That's the story I think people want to hear or see as a fan film. So if you know people that can do the lightsabers and all the special effects and everything, I will be more than happy to write the screenplay for a short fan film, 15, 20 minutes, something like that. You just let me know what you want, and that's what we'll do. Red Walrus, TM NC52 is here. Howdy yourself. Yes, we are going full into it. Thanks, PJ. Appreciate the support. Let's find out where we are. We were trying to get over 300 subscribers. Let me refresh the page. We're at 302. So It's giveaway time. So, Tim, which was the one that I didn't get? We've got Sid Meier's Civ 3. Is that what you wanted? Yes, no? You were here the earliest, so you get first pick. Okay, that's Tim's. I'm going to put a little Post-it note on there. And then, Tim, I'm going to need you to email me your information so I can ship it to you. It is a wonderful game. So we will put Tim Civ 3. All right. Now, let's see who has been here the next longest. Yes. I tell you what, Midnight to Midnight, kind of a groovy show, man. You never know what's going to happen. Is Positive Candor still here? If not, Jace gets the next choice. So let me know. Modern PCs. I installed it on my 2020 machine and it worked great. No problems at all. It's 3 CD set. It's really good. So let's see. If Positive Candor is not here, then it's up to Jace. And next would be Elagabalus. And then Darius Munchausen. So let me know if y'all are in the chat. Yep. I have a good friend that did sound for DOA on the road. And he had some really interesting stories to tell. And Joe Keithley, otherwise known as Joey Shithead, is running for office up in Canada. So he's the kind of person that we need. Okay, Jace, you have the World of Warcraft deck set. What do they call it? Temple Raid deck. Congratulations, and thank you for the help. All right. Let's see who's been here the next longest. Okay. So Elagabalus and Positive Candor are no longer here. Darius Munchausen is here, I believe. Is that correct? Mr. Darius Munchausen. I was known from Cali bands as that nice sound guy in DC. Yeah, actually, I was going to move to DC in one of the bands that I was in because we were straight edge, hardcore, fucking punk band. We ended up not going, but I absolutely love DC hardcore, Dag Nasty, all those Discord bands that played at the 930 Club, all that stuff. It's actually, I have a book called Band in DC. You've probably heard of it. And I have autographs all the way throughout the book from Bad Brains and Government Issue and Beefeater. It's one of those things that I'll never sell, but I keep, getting autographs Brian Baker most recently autographed it when Bad Religion was in town. Okay, so yes, Jace, please email me your info. Last call for Darius Munchausen. I think Elagabulis is no longer with us. But if Darius Munchausen is, then next pick. Okay. All right. After Darius, it's going to be... But we had a long dry spell there for a while. Zach's 7. So Civilization 3 is taken. The World of Warcraft is taken. We still have issue number 4 of Nuke, a real fanzine from the 80s. And of course, we have the box set of the Silmarillion. If I can find what I did with it. Oh, it's under here. So, giveaways right now are between the Silmarillion, the full complete audiobook, 13 CDs, complete and unabridged, or if you prefer the personal touch, my fanzine. All right, man. It's up to you. Make your choice, please. Would you like the fanzine? Or would you like the Silmarillion audiobook? It's up to you. That's cool, Jace. Your secret is safe with me, man. I love you. You know that. Silmarillion. All right. You got it. Zach's 7. Okay, so send your address to my email, which is gil@sunflower.com with one L, GIL at cardinalsin.com, and you have won the Silmarillion. Thank you, sir, or madam, however it ends up being. And then Nuke number 4 goes to the person that's been here the next longest, which I think is going to be either Wendy Webb, if she's still with us, or Lawrence Martin, if he is still with us. Okay, PJ. Thanks, man. Appreciate the help. Thank you, Jace. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Away from the keyboard, listening and making fajitas. Ooh, that sounds good. I'm sure you will, my friend. I'm sure you will. Okay, last call for either Wendy Webb or Lawrence Martin. If either of you are here, last call for the giveaway. Lawrence is still here. Is Wendy Webb still here? Going once. Going twice. And Nuke number 4 goes to Lawrence Martin. Congratulations. Congratulations. You have gotten the personal touch. All right. So go ahead and send your shipping address in an email to bill@sunflower.com. And congratulations, my friend. I appreciate your help. Yes, you may get that email address again. It's gil@sunflower.com. Thank you, Red Walrus TM NC52. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody's help. We should do this more often. These little midnight to midnight giveaway parties seem to be just a thing. So, for the latecomers, yesterday I had my second jab from the Moderna vaccine, and I felt great, no problems. And then today I was wiped out, spent the entire day in bed. I got up out of bed probably four or 5 hours ago, and decided it was time for a midnight to midnight to get me over the hump. So, just because the giveaways are over doesn't mean the show must stop. Let's see what I have for your entertainment pleasure. What's this? Yes. The name Cardinal Sin comes from my moniker when I was a member of the Church of the Subgenius, which of course I still am. But I made my own slack bucks. So you see the front on the top and the back on the bottom. And these will be giveaways, incentives, as you like, for my Patreon subscribers once I get monetized, if I'm lucky enough to get monetized. There's lots of those. Sometimes I'll run across a story or two, but not in here. And some old emails. So I'm going to share with you a band that I'm really into. It's not a punk band. It's kind of an acid head band from Australia. One of my favorite bands, called The Church. And this album is called Starfish, and it's autographed by 2 of the members. Under the Milky Way tonight. If you've heard that, that's this band. I went to go see them in Kansas City, and I obtained this 3 DVD set called Future Past Perfect. And in it, they have a DVD of them performing the entire album Unlisted number 23. And then they have my favorite album of theirs. They've performed the entire album Priest Equals Aura right here. And then the third one is the entire live performance of Starfish. And I will be selling these on eBay soon, along with an autographed poster of the band. And everybody on that tour signed the poster. So that's pretty cool. Something I would normally hang on to, but I need to earn some money to pay for a fucking video card because they're obnoxiously expensive. Congratulations to all the winners. Dave G Sound, jab number 1 Friday, wife's jab number 2 Thursday. I have the weekend off to take care of her. That's great. If she's getting the Moderna shot, prepare for her to be cranky. Chicken soup if she's feeling like eating. It's the Jewish miracle cure for everything. Yeah, they cost too much. Are you talking about the church VIP kit that I just showed you? It is an expensive set. It's probably going to go for $150. I would normally price it at $199. Yes. Soup, as the dead Kennedys say, is good food. So we've reached the portion of the show where the giveaways have been locked in. I appreciate everyone's help. The card to PCs. To PCs. The card to PCs. Do you mean this one? This GPU? This one is a 2 gig GDDR5 card. So yeah, I can probably sell that for between $199 and $299 on eBay. But it's a cutthroat market. There's just not a lot of real good video cards out there. I bought one. It was like $468 when it got here from China. It was not the one I ordered. I sent it back, and I don't even know if they refunded my money. But it was a scam. Those goddamn Bitcoin miners. Listening and lurking while I Photoshop. Jello knows. I've seen Jello. Let's see. I saw him at the November 23rd Dead Kennedys show here in town, 1984. And I've seen him 5 times on a spoken word tour. So I've had about as much Jello as you could want. He was a little snide to me when I came up with a big stack of records for him to autograph, but I pulled out the test pressing of In God We Trust Incorporated, and he said, "I didn't know these were out there," and he signed it and walked off in a big huff like it was my fault. So yeah, Jace, it sounds like we ought to have punk rock live stream and get together with maybe a couple other panelists and just talk some punk rock. All right, Zax. Appreciate your being here. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for getting the link out there. And you have a great day. And a dreamless sleep. Or at least an uneventful one. So, this is the portion of the show when you can fire away questions at me, and I will do my best to answer them. And Dave, as far as taking care of your wife goes, I've heard people get headaches. I didn't get a headache, maybe a little one, but I was really stiff and sore, like my muscles. And I just laid in bed all day. And finally, it kind of wore off to the point where I was able to get up and make some food, and then decided it's time to do a midnight to midnight. Unfortunately, my secondary display isn't working, so I can't play Wayback Machine live for you that I said I was going to do in the description. So I apologize about that. In God we trust, with the other side of the tail left blank intentionally. Yep. Your favorite punk band I did see live. You want me to tell you what my favorite punk band that you saw live is, Jace? Please. Oh, did I see? My favorite punk band that I saw. Wow. That's a good question, man. That's a good question. My favorite punk band that I saw. I've seen so many and interviewed so many. I've interviewed the UK Subs, and I interviewed Broken Bones, who were a speedcore band as opposed to a metalcore band from the UK. Was that my favorite show that I saw live? There's so many, Jace. It's really, that's a great question. Let's see here. By the way, here is a CD of my band, Wayback Machine, that I was talking about being sorry that I couldn't play for you tonight. Once I figure out the secondary display, I will show you that. But that is the front, and there's the back. And the disc. And I am Gibraltar Records. This was release number 6. I've literally been in between 2 and 3 dozen bands, including studio projects. I can't remember. My memory is for shite. Good question, Dave. Define punk band. If I had to tell Jace the answer of my favorite punk band that I saw live, it would probably be Government Issue. They called KJHK, our University of Kansas student radio station, which was like a 10-watt station. It was really small. And the guy that was the promoter for their show had just like dropped out, walked away, didn't care, incommunicado. So they called and they were like, we need to play and like get gas money, and maybe something to eat. So my singer and my friend Sean Lang and I put on the government issue show in one day, in one 12-hour period. We put up flyers. We went to the radio station and gave away tickets. We promoted the hell out of that thing, and it got them to Salt Lake City. Because when you're traveling, or at least back then when you were traveling the northern route across the U.S., Lawrence was basically the only place to play between Chicago and Salt Lake. And again, it was because William S. Burroughs lived here, and his personal secretary was the one that put on most of the shows. So a lot of the bands got the initial, guarantee, plus the enticement of being able to meet and hang out with William after the show. William wasn't really into music much at all, but he was the kind of guy that you all know that I love to hear the sound of my own voice. When I was with William, I just shut the fuck up and listened. I actually have an interview with him that I sell on eBay. But he used to talk about the coolest things. He would have his cocktail hour between 5 and 6. Once, because I was raised in a Jewish household, I was approached by James Grauerholtz, his personal assistant, and asked if I could cook dinner for him on Christmas dinner, so I could spell his regular chef. And I was like, yeah. So I made, I was a vegetarian, so I made vegetarian food. And as far as I can tell, he had no idea. He was a meat and potatoes guy. So I started out by getting a fresh loaf of bread that was sliced, and I put toothpicks in the front and an olive on each toothpick and made it into a trilobite. And I brought it out, and he knew what it was. He got a big kick out of that, which I thought was pretty cool. Yes, the Outhouse was a legendary punk venue. There's a documentary about it in which Wayback Machine appears. There is I think it's still there, a 7-minute long trailer for the film in which Wayback Machine Phase 1 with my singer Sean is in. We played an Amnesty International show where Sean came out in a straitjacket, and he went up to the mic and started singing, and by the time the first song was over, he'd gotten himself out of the straitjacket. It was pretty cool. Hail Tim Possible. Oh, your wife is in the documentary. Cool. So probably Government Issue was my favorite. Nah, actually, I'll take that back. Jace Dagnasty on their Field Day tour was my favorite live band experience. And by the way, Jace, I watched your edit of The Last Jedi. I think it's highly superior to Rian Johnson's cut, but it's still like, I just don't want to watch that movie, Dear Mrs. Tuma. Yeah, great song. Dave, it sounds like you need to be in on our discussion with Jace. We're going to do a punk rock stream, and I am hereby inviting you to it. Let me move some stuff around. Let's see if I don't kill myself. There we go. Ooh. Ah, chair to the gut. Ouch. So, here's my Dag Nasty record. Except it's on green wax. How cool is that? I interviewed TSOL when they came to Kansas City, and I took video, and I will put that up as soon as I can figure out how, because most of the files are on a Mac, and the only other copy I made was a DVD. I really fucking hate Windows 10. Later, Tim. Thanks for being here. Yeah, it's a great album. I remember when it came out. I was working at Exile Records, and I think I played it all day. Couldn't get enough of it. Field Day is my favorite album by Dag Nasty, though. I might have to change my answer, Jace, about my favorite punk band that I saw, to the Descendants. That was like a religious experience. And Bad Religion, speaking of religious experiences, that was a great show. After which I got to hang out with Brian Baker, who signed my stuff, and the bass player Jay, who is the founder of the band. And even though it was freezing cold, we talked for like 2 hours about being in bands. You know, he's in a huge band that sold millions of records, you know, but he was just a normal guy. And we were just talking as two professional musicians, you know, just regular guys. He was very cool. Yeah, it's pretty sick. Jace, Dave wants to know when we should set up our punk rock stream. So I will leave the time to you, since you're in Norway. I know that you can be up and about just about any time. Dave, what time zone are you in, man? Not that it matters that much, but we should work around what works best for Jace. Most days works. Well, let's see. Tomorrow, tomorrow actually might work. I'm supposed to do Into the Fringe tomorrow, but I don't have guests lined up. So, I mean, that's kind of short notice, but Fugazi worked that era. Minor Threat built the wood stage at the club I started at. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. I'm kind of a night owl, so it depends on how late you can stay up. But yeah, we can definitely put something together if you want to talk tomorrow or Friday. Either of those days works for me, and I think Jace is busy on Saturday. Is that right? Dear Mrs. Tuma. All right. I'm going to let you guys talk a bit. I'll be right back. Just a refill. Busy Monday and Thursday. I have a podcast and a stream, but we can fix a time. Okay. Well, you guys work it out, and let's see. I have Friday open. I have Saturday open. Sunday I have a very long podcast. But we could make a Cardinal Sin and Friends about punk. I mean, that would work. But yeah, just let me know. You know my my email address. So hit me up. Just no Raylos. But preparing for a punk lock live stream, I would be able to, bring out my flyers and my signed posters, records, all that good stuff. So we could have a lot of fun. Love to chat. Let's defer a bit, as with my night work tomorrow and wife's second shot over weekend. We'll get back to this, and I'd love to participate. Sounds good, my friend. So we'll call it next week, and I will wait to hear from you guys. And Dave, you just send me an email or friend me up on Twitter at Bill Bevell. If you're a Twitter type, and we'll work it out. We'll work out the details. I think a punk rock live stream would be really cool. One of the things I'm trying to do is to get Bad Religion to come on my show, Masters of the Genre. And I think they will. No tweet. Punk. Gotcha. Whatever works for you. You can find me on Facebook at Gil Bevell. There's only one. There's only one Gil Bevell in the whole world. So, says we're having trouble connecting. There we go. Yeah, Facebook is fine. We can do that. Just hit me up on Facebook. And while you're there, please ask to join the following group. That's Synagogue with an I. That's the name of the group for the Cardinal Sin channel that you're on now. So if you become a member of the group, you'll get all the notifications, etc., about shows that I have coming up, etc. if you're into it. If not, that's cool too. But yeah, I've got a ton of stuff I can talk about. Going back to my previous life on punk rock. I opened for Green Day. I opened for the Descendants like 5 times. I opened for Big Drill Car. I just can't remember. There are so many bands that I opened for. And as I mentioned before, I headlined quite a bit. I was going to actually share some punk live Wayback Machine with you tonight, but for some reason my secondary display isn't working. I have a new computer and I have my old computer, and between the two, one computer is sort of spread out between the two of them, so neither of them are really functional in the proper way. Lies. The Nightmare Lizard knows the truth. Not doing the tube thing. I'm just a guy communicating. We'll chat. Nothing else. Okay. That's cool. We're chatting. Yeah, the difference between the coastal experience and the Midwestern experience is quite different. You know, I grew up in a punk rock subculture that was, you know, mostly professors' kids and townies and more intellectual types. And we all looked out for each other, you know. When the racist skinheads came in from Wichita and Kansas City, we sent them packing. Even though I've always been a pacifist, when they start wailing on my friends, I'm going to make them stop, along with the other friends of mine. But in general, it was a pretty peaceful scene. You know, it was just about going to gigs and drinking beer and taking photographs. And I used to sell stickers out there at the outhouse. And that's where I developed my interviewing skills, really. So, what else? You know, one thing I haven't done is pick out my favorite records. Here's one that I won recently. From my friend Michael Pilmer. He had a contest, and it was for the Devo album that doesn't really exist. It's a live 1981 Seattle album, still in the shrink wrap. And it's got 2 vinyls in there. And he helped produce it. And it was a record store day release. I think only 2,000 of them. I'm really into Devo. I think Devo's pretty punk. They were pre-punk, I think. I used to think that new wave was a subset of punk, but now I understand that punk is a subset of new wave. And, you know, when you look at Gary Newman, who's put out 30 records over the years, more by now, probably. They're new wave bands that have been out there as long as there have been punk bands, maybe longer. It depends on who you consider the first punk band. MC5, Slade, it's the Sex Pistols saw the Ramones when they came over from New York in 1976, I think. So it was, I don't know, the early version of Devo, like in 1974, was kind of an art project more than a band. But the whole de-evolution thing got really, really good. Definitely understand. Although tonight's Midnight to Midnight was absolutely about channel shares and promotions to get me over 300, which we did. And I thank you greatly. Those of you that were involved. You can see my Toxic Reasons poster back there. Wrong way. I'm still figuring out the left to right thing. Most of the stuff that I have up here is genre related, but I do have a couple of autographed posters. One of the Dickies, one of Ultimate Fake Book. That's a kind of a local band that got really big for a while. I really like Ultimate Fake Book. Thank you, Derek. I appreciate it. I couldn't have done it without your guys' help. It was something that I needed to get done. Oh, that's cool. I remember going to San Francisco the first time, and I saw punk in front of the way down into the BART terminal, and I was like, "Hey, do you know anything about any shows that are going on?" And it was just some guy spare changing. It was a homeless person that was just dressed up as a punk rocker. He had no idea. He looked at me like I was from a different planet. I did not watch The Bad Batch. I don't have Disney Plus. I never will. And the premise is not easy for the willing suspension of disbelief. You got to keep in mind, I'm not an EU guy. I don't know much about the EU. But if you have clones and there's a Bad Batch, it doesn't make sense. I'm sure it's a great show. It's just not my bag, man. I like The Mandalorian. I wish that they hadn't strung it out so long and made it 30 minutes long with 12 minutes of credits. But it is what it is. I thought WandaVision was a complete and utter waste of time. As much as I like the actors and their performances, it was a complete waste of space. Another complete waste of space, now that I'm talking about it, I got around to watching For All Mankind a few days ago, and it was like the most wokety woke thing I've seen in a long time. It's the first Ronald D. Moore show that I disliked. Even though I like a lot of the actors that are in it, it's just, it's like what Robert Meyer Burnett says. If you put your agenda or your universe before your story will suck. And as a screenwriter and a writer, ghostwriter, etc., I know a little something about how to tell stories, why people tell stories, read stories, watch movies, and they don't go to movies to get lectured, to get their, have someone wag their finger in their face. So, I'm a fan of the original trilogy. I'm a fan of Alien. I'm a fan of, the book Neuromancer. I graduated from the Institute for the Study of Science Fiction at KU, and I've been on both sides of the workshop process. I workshopped here at KU, and then I created an anthology. I had a Facebook group. I still have a Facebook group that I started because so many people tried to do NaNoWriMo, November National Novel Writing Month, by the book, which meant you couldn't bring in any previous ideas, characters, anything. And you had to finish your novel in November, in 30 or 31 days, whatever it is. And I saw friends of mine who were grown men cry because they were 5 pages away or whatever. So I started Deck Shosto Ramo, which was December Short Story Writing Month. And then I renamed it to something about the short story. And then the problem was there was a Facebook group called the Short Story that was all people that were not native English speakers, and they were using the group to, learn English as a second language, which is a noble goal, but it's not what we were doing. So it eventually became called Writing the Short SF Story, science fiction in parentheses. And I wrote a list of about 270 titles, and writers would pick a title, and then I'd take it off the board, and they would write a first draft, and then we would have a meeting after I read their first draft over Facebook video, kind of like this, but mano a mano, as it were. And every time, down to the last one, every time I critiqued them, gave them my input, they went away recharged and ready to kind of go in a different direction or take my advice. And we did this 4 times, once a month for 4 months. And the anthology is almost ready to come out. The problem is it's on my Mac Pro, and that video card that I was talking about earlier blew out the logic board, which is what Mac calls the motherboard. And I bought a new, used one on eBay for $99, and I didn't think that I had the techno savvy, if you will, to unplug everything, off of the motherboard and take everything out, put the new one in and reconnect everything. But I did, and it worked. And I was so happy to have my computer back that I had no reason to think that it wouldn't last months or longer. but it blew out that night. I had it for about 10 hours, and I should have used that time to get all of the anthology off of there. Unfortunately, I didn't. So, the Robert Meyer Burnett short story contest, I am going to enter it. I have a story called The Intergalactic Brotherhood of Rock that I'm writing for that short story contest. Unfortunately, it would be too expensive to produce as a film, which is what he wants to do with the winning story, because it takes place on Ganymede, which means lots of green screen. And, the reason that you write a short story is because it fires the imagination of the reader, and you see all the things that the author is telling you in the story. So it'll make a really good short story, and I think Rob will dig it. But he keeps changing things and moving the goalposts, which is fine, because he's still, working with the film contest. And last I knew, May 15th was the deadline. So I guess I've got 9 days to get my story in shape. But it's probably one full-on creative session and one revision away from being able to submit. I mean, I know how to write and submit, and it's just the sort of thing that you have to sit down and knock out. I remember the first time that I sat down and wrote a 10,000 word story in one sitting. It was like something, it just possessed me, and I was just like a instrument for whatever was inhabiting me. And then I was done, and I saved it and turned off the computer and went to sleep. And I got up the next day and I read it, and I was like, did I write this? This is really good. I don't mind saying. So this is the lanyard to the first Worldcon that I attended, the World Science Fiction Convention. And for now, it hangs on the Borg bank. Let's see. Jay says, you are going a long way, brother. I'm surprised that you don't have more, my man. Well, I have what I have. Derek and I had the same experience at the same era. That's cool. Red Walrus TMNC52 says, yeah, I gave WandaVision a chance, but by the end it wasn't great. Yeah, it just, it was a waste of time. And time is something I have increasingly smaller amounts of, and I'm extremely aware of that. So, live while you may, for tomorrow we may die. Coming from a small town in Northern Ireland, it was quite an eye-opener, I bet. I'm in the U.S. and went to England in 76 and again in 84. Loved the hovercraft at Dover to France. Pretty choppy. Dave, was that by any chance the one that was in the James Bond movie? I don't remember which one it was, but I remember the hovercraft because they were all about the gadgets and stuff. But I guess they had a ferry or something instead of the channel. Nice. Time to cook. Gotta go, friends. Good having you here, Dave G. We will definitely get together on that punk rock live stream. I'm looking forward to it. Red Walrus TM NC52 read on his website it was an undetermined deadline. Is there new information you heard? Last I heard it was May 15th, but like I said, he keeps moving the goalposts. And that's because he does a new show every 5 weeks, Midnight Metal. Metal, yeah, fucking metal, yeah. If you go to my channel and go to Cardinal Sin's appearances, you will see me hanging with Robert Meyer Burnett and Dave Parker, and we had a nice little 45-minute chat or so that's on my channel. It's kind of fun. Yes, take care, Dave, for sure. Let's see. KJHK, which is sort of, I guess, another spelling of Jayhawk, which is the mascot at the University of Kansas, the Kansas Jayhawks. If you've watched any basketball, any college basketball, you'll probably recognize KU because they are a huge basketball power. Growing up here, being the son of a professor and knowing other, growing up in the context of people who were sons of either industrialists or daughters of professors and that kind of thing. The punk scene was really integrated. It was like everybody that I knew really well dropped out of high school about the same time. And they were on a really major authority kick when I was in my senior year. I dropped out the senior year of high school 2 weeks into my senior year, which was too bad because for the first time, I was really enjoying it. I was taking French, and I'm a language, math, music person, which kind of all comes from the same part of the brain, which probably isn't here. I don't know why I'm pointed at it. It could be here for all I know. Tube and throat singing. But we all watched out for each other. Everybody dated each other. It was just a really tight-knit scene, So, we've had some suicides. We've had some people who died. One of the guys that was responsible for taking footage of a lot of the bands that played at the Outhouse, including my band, Wayback Machine, which you can catch on my channel, Cardinal Sins Bands or something. If it hadn't been for Sean Frevely, that footage wouldn't exist, and he died back in the 90s. He was a big guy. He was carrying a lot of weight. I guess they would probably call him morbidly obese at this point, but I honestly don't know why or of what he died, but it was really early. We lost another friend to cancer, brain cancer, an inoperable brain tumor. My best friend, Brian, didn't commit suicide, but he lived a really suicidal lifestyle. He drank a lot. He smoked a lot. He was diagnosed with crevices in his lungs when he was 17, and he smoked 2 or 3 packs a day. I remember coming home from college one day, and we were living together. We were roommates, and he was listening to one of my Devo bootlegs so loud with the headphones on that it was like way too loud from in front of the door. So I unlocked the door and I went over to him and I turned off the stereo and took off the headphones. And I was like, what are you doing? Why are you listening to my Devo bootlegs at like 10? And he said, well, I know I'm going to die by the time I'm 40, so I want to use up every part of my body. Which I was like, what? But he actually died because a mutual acquaintance sold him some pills, but didn't tell him how strong they were. And, that was it. And there's lots more stories like that, people that I didn't know quite as well. And of course, as we all get older, some people are going to fall by the wayside. In 2020, one of the guys that did a lot of shifts on KJHK and had a fanzine died. A lot of people moved away, and it's it's not a lot of fun thinking about it, but these things happen. Boy, I'm glad that that second jab is out of my system. My arm's still a little sore, but man, I was laid up all day. So hanging out with you guys, more in the morning is kind of fun. So let's see. Red Walrus TMNC52, did you watch The Bad Batch? I remember when Star Wars first came out, I went and saw it 26 times in the theater and had almost all the Star Wars cards, the blue ones, the red ones, the yellow ones, the stickers. My friend Brian had, the Darth Vader action figure container where you store all of them and it folds up. We had a lot of fun playing with that stuff. Give it a C+. Well, that's about what I expect. I mean, every time Disney takes one step forward, they take two steps back. Everything that's gone on with Gina Carano, every time Pablo Hidalgo opens his mouth, he sticks his foot in it. Now, this newest thing that happened on May the 4th, Star Wars Day, when official Lucasfilm Disney art was released, which was technically fan art. They clipped Finn out of it to put it on Twitter, and then on Disney Plus, probably everybody knows this by now. He was in the artwork, but the one that most people saw on Twitter, they had just changed the artist's original work to remove Finn, John Boyega, from the artwork. And I don't know why anybody would be surprised by it. It's the same kind of behavior that they've been doing, since 2012, since they bought Lucasfilm. The destruction of Luke Skywalker, making him look like a traitor, a failure, a hermit, a coward. Nobody wanted to see that. I'm not very happy about the whole Kathleen Kennedy identity politics situation. And the worst part about it is, even when Kathleen Kennedy is gone, her hand-picked Lucasfilm story group will remain. which is filled with all women with very little writing experience, almost no film experience, and very little television experience. I think they've written for One Tree Hill and The Golden Girls or something like that. I get them confused with the writer's room for Star Trek Discovery. Another serious fucking disappointment. I definitely count myself among the fandom menace. I lean heavily into the fandom menace and away from woke culture because I was raised in a meritocracy, and I was on the local swim team for 7 years, the local track team, which my parents founded, for 7 years. I had a collection of red, white, and blue medals and ribbons, and I think the whole concept of participation trophies, telling kids that they're special, is doing a great disservice to them, because then they come out into the world and they find out that they're not special. And like Bill Hicks said, your children aren't special. They're special to you. I don't think they're special. Everyone thinks their kids are special, and that's fine. But raising any kid's expectations for life about being expecting that they're going to be actually more special than anyone else that was told they were special, it just sets them up for failure. And that's when they become, trigger warning happy, safe space needing snowflakes. And I know that sounds kind of rough, but the world is a rough place. No one ever said life was going to be fair. And, we are, at the end of the day, we are a combination of our experiences and our memories. And if your experiences and your memories are of reaching for greatness and grabbing the brass ring, one thing I liked about For All Mankind, even though it was woke, was it still showed the astronauts in the Apollo and the Gemini program as the best of the best, the test pilots, the people that were either adrenaline junkies or just had no fear or were brave or whatever. And, you take kids that have been told they're special all their lives, and, you put them into the astronaut training program, and they're going to be all huffy about, how come I didn't get first, seat or whatever. Because they expect everything to come to them. And that's not how the world works. The world is a meritocracy. At least our world in the United States. I'm somewhat envious of people that live in the UK, Norway, Scandinavian countries, where they have a happiness index and they are among the happiest people in the world, because they don't have to have all the stress and the worry about paying the house payment or making enough money to pay for, chemotherapy or whatever. People should not die at this point in 2021. People should not die because they don't have the money. That's just insane. One thing that was really big in the news yesterday was that the president, who had campaigned on the idea of not really caring too much about the big pharma companies, and that it was important to get the vaccine out there to everyone that needs it, including India and Brazil and Peru and Africa, and these countries that are not as rich as the United States are begging for waivers for the patents on the vaccines so that they can start producing them in their own countries and vaccinate their people. And the United States big pharma companies are, making money hand over fist. They've made $3.5 billion already on the vaccines. I think that's enough. That's plenty, considering that the Moderna vaccine was not part of the Warp Speed program. It was a small group of immunologists that were working on, the cure or the vaccine. The company that they worked for, be damned, it wasn't a huge deal as far as a large investment. They got the vaccine pretty quickly, especially given that other pharmaceutical companies were, given incentives and all that kind of stuff. But at this point, it's just important to vaccinate everybody on the planet if they want it. And those that don't, I feel sorry for. That's just me. I generally don't discuss politics or religion on my channel, but this is science, and that's different. I like dark a lot. I think dark is a lot of fun. My country, Canada, is dragging its heels on waiving the patents also. Yes. And hail, Rod Thunderheart. Good to see you, my friend. Glad that you can make it here on Midnight to Midnight number 3, where the goal of getting me past 300 subscribers was not only met, but I have 302 subscribers. So there are some lucky winners that were here earlier that won issue number 4 of my fanzine Nuke, and getting me over the hump, Tim Possible won Sid Meier's Civilization, the 3 CD set, and Jace won the World of Warcraft Black Temple raid deck, and Zach's 7 won the Silmarillion 13 disc set, unexpurgated audiobook of the Silmarillion. So it's been a pretty exciting evening already, but it's good to see you. Glad you're here. I think, at this point, something like this pandemic could be likened to the earth trying to shake all of the people off of it, because we're digging our own graves. And to a degree, this is a controversial statement, but as a science fiction writer, it's something I think about. It's almost like Gaia has said enough is enough, and I can't support any more than 7.5 billion people. So here's this pandemic, which, could have been a lot worse for sure. And now that there's a real light at the end of the tunnel, I had my second shot yesterday. Felt like shit all day today. It makes me wonder how much more rapidly pandemics will occur. The natural occurrence of trying to get rid of humanity, the worst thing to happen to planet Earth since the dinosaurs, I guess. I don't know. It's not necessarily popular, but it's something I think about a lot. Hail Thomas Preston, 6 watching with 16 likes and 0 dislikes. Red Walrus TM NC52 says he's seeing 24 likes. The Samuel L. Jackson Kingsman theory. I didn't know he was in the Kingsman. Yeah, you can probably just hit your reload button and see. We did it. I'm over 300 subscribers, and that was the goal. So I have some giveaway gifts to send out, and looking forward to that. We've talked about putting together a punk rock live stream. Thank you, Rod. Appreciate that. When I think back to what I thought my life would be about, it's definitely ended up in an alternate universe from what I expected. And there are some things about the universe that I didn't end up in that I would have preferred. But, you get what you get. And I guess there's not a lot of sense in regrets because, it doesn't further any goals. It just makes you nostalgic and melancholic. But I can see several forks in the road in my past that were the path not taken. And I regret not taking some of those paths. But what are you going to do? Right? It's catch as catch can. I really believe that we make 95% of our own misery, 95% of our own happiness. I think one's outlook really has a lot to do with the way one creates their own reality. And if you told me that when I was, 17, I probably would have laughed in your face. But it's true that youth is wasted on the young, at least in my case. When I was 17, I thought I knew everything there was to know, and everything was such a drag, and that wasn't the case at all. I'm a much better, well-rounded person than I was then. I've learned a lot about my own flaws and made efforts to correct them. And I don't know if that was something I was interested in doing when I was 17. That's why on the playlist for the punk rock bands that I was in on my channel, I refer to it as in Cardinalson's previous life, because it was so different from the life that I live now. The two are almost unrecognizable from one another. Let's see what you guys have to say. Yup. Beer, red ale, coupe, beer. Dirt cheap, but good stuff. Fair enough. Excellent point, Gil. Why, thank you. Absolutely right. Well, Mr. Thunderheart, you have extremely good taste. There's a certain point in life, I think, where self-gratification doesn't do it. And you realize life is about service to others. And, when I was a teenager, I worked in fast food restaurants and did a lot of retail and just jobs that I hated. But now that I'm older and I'm disabled, but I'm not on disability. I have a really serious back problem that's neurological, not musculoskeletal. I depend a lot on the younger, folks in the stores and at Starbucks and all that kind of stuff to be of service to me. And that's, something that I was aware of back when I was younger, that life was about service. And I think if you look at it that way, it's really the only thing that matters. You help a little old lady across the street. If somebody's stuck on the road, you got to make the decision about whether you're willing to risk your life to help someone out. Although that didn't used to be the case quite so much. It's very easy, especially these days, to do the small things for people that make a difference. To take 10 seconds out of your day, to return somebody's wallet, or, you left this in the store or whatever, here's your phone, etc. I like that, Thomas. To make God laugh, just tell him your plans. I like that. Yeah, and that kind of fits in with the life is what happens while you're busy making plans saying. It's interesting because when you do things for other people, sometimes they don't even know that you are, and sometimes that's the best kind of service or charity or whatever you want to call it. When I was 17, I had my head up my own ass. I was self-involved and self-absorbed and really didn't care. But then I realized that everything else was what mattered truly, not me. Everything but me is what mattered. And I've come to believe that. And while I'm a punk rocker and used to slam dance and get out some aggressive tendencies and things like that in the mosh pit, there was always a hand reaching down if somebody fell down. There was always 8 hands pulling people up. And that's one of the differences I was talking about in the Midwest punk scene versus a coastal experience. East Coast, West Coast, there were a lot of people that were just there to do violence on one another, and that's not cool. That's why I'm a pacifist. That's why I'm a vegan. I want my footprint to be as small as possible. And I think that it's important to help other people. Now, life really is about service. Rod Thunderheart, I've always thought that. I don't know, Gil. I find people more apathetic today. Yeah, I think you're right. Can you name the movie that came from, Gil? The quote. I can't. But I will let you enlighten us while I refresh my drink. And we're back here on Midnight to Midnight number 3, where we successfully got Cardinal Sin over the 300 hump. 300 subscribers, 302 at last count, I believe. Christian Slater and Mila Jovovich. I don't think I saw Cuffs. I guess I came up with that all on my own. I didn't realize it was a quote from a movie. And my memory is not what it used to be. But that's cool. I mean, I've heard of the movie, but I haven't seen it. So now that I have you here, yes, I'm already a chronic pain patient because of my back, and my back does hurt still. But fortunately, I have fistfuls of narcotics that I can take that makes it a little easier. I'm what's called a hypermetabolizer. I metabolize drugs in the 99th percentile. So it takes me more than it does most people, which comes across to most doctors and nurses as drug-seeking behavior. So it's difficult to convince them that that's the case. Rod Thunderheart says it wasn't an actual quote, but there's a point where the car drives past a wall and the quote appears. Oh, life is what happens when you're making other plans. Yeah, I think that's like John Lennon or Mark Twain or one of those quotable people. I don't remember. But man, I used to love Christian Slater movies. Gleaming the Cube, and I liked Mr. Robot quite a bit. Yeah, actually, Red Walrus TMNC52. My back is hurting. Try the wine. It's the controlling theme of the show. Well, I guess it is now. Yeah, he was cool. What was the one about the pirate radio station that he had? That was really good. I think Winona Ryder was in it or something. Was he in Heathers? Is that right? Am I misremembering that? Yeah, I think he was in Heathers. I don't remember. I just remember I really loved that movie. And it's been a long time since I've seen it. I should probably watch it again. God, I wish I could remember the name of that. I was really surprised when I saw him in the Star Trek film when he was playing like an ensign that had to get Captain Kirk up or something like that. Maybe Star Trek 6, Undiscovered Country. I don't remember. Back when they knew how to make Star Trek, right? And I suppose, while we're pump up the volume, thank you, Rod. I'm still here. Don't worry. Pump up the volume, pump up the volume, pump up the volume, pump it, pump it. Yeah, that was a great movie. I watched that movie like 3 or 4 times. I don't know why, but there's like one key on my keyboard that if I hit it accidentally, it'll throw me out of my own chat. So I need to learn how to not do that. Red Walrus TMNC52, same as Red Thunderheart. Ditto. Pump up the volume. Yeah, this is a great movie. Was he in Heathers? I'm sure he was. Heathers. Yep. Winona Ryder, Christian Slater. Yeah. 7.2 out of 10. Yeah, movies were just kind of better back then. Samantha Mathis was in it. Can't forget her nude scene. Well, I guess I'll have to check that out again. Rod Thunderheart. What I liked best about Cuffs was Christian Slater constantly breaks the fourth wall, turning to talk to the audience. What makes it unique is that nobody else talks to the camera, just him. That's interesting. That happens a lot on Mr. Robot with Elliot. He breaks the fourth wall a lot. Hey, Brett Cohen. How you doing, man? Yeah, Leonard Cohen is great. I love Leonard Cohen. Heathers was a special movie, I think. Not just for me, but I think for a lot of people. I remember the father of the quarterback saying, I love my dead gay son. I love my dead gay son. Which was a total ruse. They just made it to, look that way. Really, a movie that you couldn't make today. Heather's, cancel culture would just, blow that away. It's funny that you mentioned Deadpool, Rod. I was watching both the John Campea show and Observations today, and they mentioned Deadpool 3. And they were both of the opinion that it's not going to show up on Disney Plus. It's definitely going to be a wide release in the movie theaters and cinemas type of a film. I'm just concerned that there won't be any more cinemas and theaters other than maybe drive-ins. I seriously considered when I was in the chat, on the Inquisition or Doomcock's Friday Night Frolics live stream one day, somebody from Canada put out the question, do you want to be half owner of a drive-in in Canada? And I was like, well, how many months of the year would it be operable? And he was like, just the same as in the US, you close during the winter. I think there's a conspiracy in Canada to prevent Americans from going up there, that it's actually really nice and that they just make it look cold in movies and stuff so that people don't come up there. Like since the Vietnam War, when people were dodging the draft, you filthy Americans, you stay out of Canada. L'chaim. Oh, that's good. Yeah, you really wouldn't. You'd never see that today, which is unfortunate. And I hope it's going to change. I really do. I hope that we're going to shake off, and when I say we, I mean society, is going to shake off this gender bending, race swapping, woke bullshit, you know. So let's talk about Black Superman. Dwayne Johnson apparently was spending a great deal of money and effort to make a movie where he was Black Adam and Henry Cavill was Superman. And I guess it wouldn't be an extension of the Snyderverse, but I think Henry Cavill was born to play Superman. I really do. And I think The Witcher saved Netflix. I really do. I started rewatching The Witcher for the fourth time the other day, and I was like, I don't remember this at all. It was like there were a couple episodes that I just missed altogether. But that's probably a function of how bad my memory is. It's funny. Red Walrus, TMNC52. Down here in Kansas, in northeastern Kansas, it's brutally cold in the winter, and it's brutally hot in the summer. And if I had to pick one, I think I'd rather be cold all the time than be hot all the time, or be hot most of the time, some of the time, whatever, because you can only take off so many clothes, but you can put on as many clothes as you want. You can get a space heater, you can get a wood stove, an iron cooking stove, whatever. I don't want to move up to the Arctic and live in a igloo or something, but my understanding is it's not that bad, and they do just like the Amish do. They help each other make their homes because it's really fucking cold outside, but that's not what I'm interested in. I've heard that Toronto is a really clean city, or at least it used to be, and that the weather's not bad. And you watch David Cronenberg films that take place in Toronto, and people are wearing coats, but not hats or mittens or anything. Maybe that's so that you can see their faces. I don't know. But it's always seemed like some kind of a conspiracy to me, that Canadians want to keep Americans out by, making it like Nanook of the North, and of course, nowadays with climate change, there are shipping boats that are not going through the Suez Canal and going through the Northwest Passage because it's sadly melted. Rod Thunderheart, holy crap. Congratulations on popping past 300. Thank you. That was, in fact, the entire idea behind tonight's Midnight to Midnight. We gave away some wonderful prizes earlier, and I now stand at 302. So sometimes you have to create your own luck. And that's what I decided to do tonight. But thank you. It gets as hot as it does cold up here in Alberta. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Edmonton here, Rod. Negative 36 or plus 36 degrees Celsius. Now, see, unfortunately, I have no fucking clue what that means. I know that 0 Celsius is the same as 0 Fahrenheit, but we've been using imperial measurement in the United States for so long, even though they were teaching us metrics when I was in grade school and I was like the best in the class at it. I've totally forgotten everything other than I think there's 1.6 miles to a kilometer or something like that. For some reason, 1.6 stands out. But yeah, thank God for the Canadians. Thank God for Canada. Canada has been a good friend to the United States when it was important, and when it was not important, Canada declined to go on sort of empire building adventures, regime change, occupations, and so forth. And I really admire the Canadian system. I wish the United States had a parliamentary system and more than two parties that are really just one party. I also really like the Israeli Knesset, the way that they are forced to put together a coalition government. I guess this happens to a degree in the UK as well, but the religious extremists have to deal with, the secular governmental types to get a working government, going. And if they don't, there's a vote of no confidence and they do it again. I actually considered writing a book, a novel many years ago about sort of a Tom Clancy novel about an attack on Israel during one of these periods of government in turmoil. And my dad, who is a Sabra, which means he was born there, said the time when the security is the tightest in Israel is during those inflection points, and he knows what he's talking about because he fought for Israeli independence in 1948. So, Canada, UK, Israel, whatever. I really prefer a parliamentary system where the Green Party not only gets a say, but they get several candidates, in there. And so do, the libertarians or whoever, I don't even know. In the UK, I guess there's the conservative somebody and the liberal Democrats, and they don't mean the same thing as they mean in the United States. I've never been able to figure that out, but I do really respect the whole system of government that involves a lot of people, and you're forced to deal with the people that you might not otherwise do so because you have to put together a coalition government, and it's not all run by one party. I really think that would make a big difference because here, they're talking about not waiving the patents for the COVID-19 vaccine and making third world countries pay through the nose for it because big pharma, is big pharma. And that's wrong. It's just flat out wrong. Everybody who wants the shot should get the shot. I don't care where they live, who they are, what their skin color is, doesn't matter. And the people that don't want the shot should probably get it too. But let's see what you guys have to say. 36 is about 100. Wow. Well, I remember when I worked at Phoenix Agricultural Group, we sold environmentally friendly plant foods and biostimulants. And I had a customer that lived on the north side of Lake Ontario. And he said that his growing season was longer than they had in Texas. And I believed him. I had no reason to disagree with him. We tested his soil. We helped him rebalance it, sold him some product, and he grazed his cattle or whatever. And I'm sure there's a lake effect, just like there is in Chicago. But yeah, it's very interesting the way that Canadians are perceived by Americans and vice versa. The first thing I remember hearing about was the acid rain that was produced by the United States that the Canadians had to deal with. And I thought, well, that's pretty fucked up. Hey, yo, Raw Thunderheart. Yo, what's up, yo? Yo, dog. I'm just kidding. Yes, the war in Afghanistan. It's 20 years old. It should be ended. There are more Al Qaeda there than there were when we went in. It's actually more unpopular than the Vietnam War was. It's in single digits or double digits. It's just crazy. Rod Thunderheart, there's an urban legend that the Queen funded the South during the Civil War and the money came through Canada. Interesting. Urban legend, sure. But in Canada, we do elect a party that came in second. Yeah, and that's what I like. I think that there's a lot to be said for ranked choice voting. And I think if the United States had ranked choice voting when Bernie, was a big deal, I think he'd be, vice president. I have my own conspiracy theories about what happened to Bernie. He was the first person to win all 3 caucus states, and then it was all Biden. And that, stinks. There's something rotten in the state of Denmark about that. But there I go with my conspiracy theories again. We just had a state election, only place in Australia that uses the Har-Clark system. Crazy to vote, but it's a real count for the electors. I understand in Australia that voting is compulsory and mandatory, and I think that's a good thing. Lawrence Martin, good night. Thank you, brother, for being here. Your fanzine is on its way, my brother. Appreciate it. Red Walrus TM NC52. Take care, Lawrence. And the same with Brett Cohen. All good friends of mine. I'm enjoying hanging out here with you on Midnight to Midnight. Now that we're past the 300 subscriber goal, we can kind of just kick back and enjoy the early morning. And I'll tell you, although I've told you before, that second Moderna shot, yesterday I felt fine, and today it just wiped me out, my back still hurts, but it hurts all the time. But, my muscles are finally becoming a little less, whatever that word is, crunchy or, I felt at some point like I was going to have a sciatica attack, which is no fun. And I've had before many times. If you enroll to vote, you're compelled to by law. But if you can't be forced to enroll, if you donkey vote, though, it goes to the party in power. If you don't vote, so I guess maybe I have an imperfect understanding of how the Aussie electoral system works. My understanding was that everybody had to vote. It was, compulsory by law. Which, if that were the case in the United States, I don't think the Republicans would have a chance. But then again, I try not to discuss politics or religion on my channel. So, guess I fucked that up, huh? Yeah, we agreed with George Bush too. I think selecting a guy as vice president who's been the head of the CIA for 20 years is not a good idea. And then voting him into the presidency is a worse idea. And then electing his son, who's a complete doofus, into the presidency is a really a sign of the times. It's just proof that those that are the most fit to lead are the least willing. Did you make it through all 3 seasons of Dark? I'm almost through the first season. You know, Red Walrus TM NC52, I don't know if I did make it through all 3 seasons. I think I might be somewhere in season 3. There's no particular reason that I stopped. I just did. But I love Dark. I think it's great. It reminds me a lot of Counterpart, which I loved. And I wish they'd had, all the seasons they needed to tell the full story of Counterpart. It was like J.K. Simmons' best role. And I love J.K. Simmons, from J. Jonah Jameson and Spider-Man to Whiplash to, everything he's in is made better by his presence. Well, okay. Yeah, I just started Invincible too. I think I'm 3 episodes in. Something like that. I'm really waiting for The Boys next season because I want it to be as good as the first season was. It's probably not going to be, but it's something that I wanted to do. Red Walrus, you watched Doomcock on Friday? You're further. Yeah. Although it's a good show. It's got a lot going for it. I think it's some good storytelling. I think also the fact that it's a German show allows it to be free from all this woke bullshit. Dark doesn't have any woke in it as far as I can tell. And it's a great show. I don't know where it's going, but I know that the showrunners and the writers do, and that's very important. I was kind of bitching a little bit earlier about For All Mankind, which I just thought was a absolute waste of time. And I was unhappy that I didn't like it because it was the first Ronald D. Moore show that I disliked. It took way too long to get where it was going. They could have told that story in a 2-hour made-for-TV movie. There was so much filler in For All Mankind. Every time I watched it, I felt like an idiot for watching it. I was just like, why do I keep watching this goddamn woke show? But I'm done with it. If they make more, that's great, but I'm not going to watch it. Seasons 2 rarely live up to the pressure. Yeah. One of the reasons why I was interested in finishing For All Mankind was that everybody was talking about how incredible the season 2 finale was. And when I got there, I was like, really? That's it? That's really lame. So, I mean, no spoilers, but I don't think it's that great a show. I think Battlestar Galactica is highly superior to For All Mankind. Um, I'm very much looking forward to season 2 of The Witcher, although all the reports are that it's going to be broke and there are going to be more Witchers and less Henry Cavill. Um, I'll make that judgment call when I see it. Like Doomcock, I don't like to, prejudge a show before I see it. Although I'm very happy and lucky that people like Gary and Doomcock take the hit so that we don't have to on some of these shows. Like Watchmen, I never watched a single episode of it just because I knew there was a very high probability it was going to be woke. And after hearing, what Gary and Doomcock did to it on the Inquisition, I was very happy I didn't have to suffer through it. And that's true with a lot of TV and movies and streaming. You'll notice my signed autographed photo of Doomcock right up there. I'm going to have Doomcock on the channel actually for about an hour. We're not sure exactly when it's going to happen, but we're going to talk about social issues and issues of the day and whatever we feel like talking about. So that'll be cool. A German I agree with says I need to watch Dark. Has anyone watched Ragnarok, the Norwegian series? As told, it's good as well. I've never even heard of Ragnarok, but I would watch it in a heartbeat. That sounds great. Actually, one of my favorite shows is a New Zealand show called The Almighty Johnsons. And it's about the the Norse gods that fled from, Norway, I guess, and settled in New Zealand. And it's got great comedy. It's got some really sexy women in it that are, sexy because the plot requires that they be. It's part of the story. It's not gratuitous sexiness, although I don't have a problem with that. And it follows a family of 4 brothers that when they turn 21, they sort of get their powers. And the youngest of these 4 brothers turns 21, and we sort of follow him with his brothers. It's a great show. The Almighty Johnsons is a gem that most people have never heard of or seen. And I remember they took a break in between season 2 and season 3 for maybe a year or two, and I was worried that we weren't going to get any more. And then they kind of wrapped up the whole thing in the 3rd series. And never a better show. I mean, it's really worthwhile, really worth seeing. Another TV show that I really liked from Australia was the occurrence, I don't remember the name of it. But it dealt with these people that were resurrected and literally like came out of their graves, but they couldn't leave like the city limits or they would die again. Really interesting show. I wish I could remember what it was called. But I think a lot of good shows are coming from Australia these days. And I think a lot of countries that have Netflix have started making their own material, like Dark, in Germany. The Crown in the UK. Insanely popular. I've never seen it. Don't care to. although I understand it's very good. There's just a lot of Lilyhammer. Have any of you guys seen Lilyhammer? Great, great Netflix show from, I think, Norway. I think Lilyhammer is in Norway. That's where the Olympics were. And one of the guys from The Sopranos, Steven, the musician, I don't remember his last name, but he sort of goes to Norway for a witness protection program kind of thing. And he buys a club, and they have real bands every episode play in this club. And I went to go see Stiff Little Fingers here in Lawrence, and the band that opened for them was called Death by Unga Bunga. And they blew Stiff Little Fingers off the stage. They were great. And I hung out with them after the show and bought them some beers, and I was talking to their lead singer, and I mentioned Lilyhammer because I was like, oh, I hope I have this right, Lilyhammer? And he was like, yes, yeah. Actually, we were on that show. And I was like, really? So that was kind of cool. My brother got me into a show called Winona Earp. It's about descendant of Wyatt Earp, and she has his old pistol, which is actually supernatural and vanishes demons who killed him to hell. Well, Rod, check this out. Wyatt Earp's name was Wyatt Barry Stapp Earp. And on my mother's side are the Barry family. So Wyatt Earp is my great, 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 great cousin. How cool is that? Didn't even require any genealogy. It's just everybody in the family knew it. It's filmed around Drumheller, Alberta, where they filmed Superman and Ghostbusters Afterlife. Ghostbusters Afterlife, I take it. Yep. It's funny, people that you run into, kind of is a small world. You run into people that, I run into people that were related to Doc Holliday and other people from the OK Corral fight, the shootout, the Clayton gang, I guess, going back to Star Trek. But it's just interesting. Van Zandt, thank you. That's exactly who I am. Steven Van Zandt. Good catch. Thank you. It's just interesting who you run into. It's a small world. And why things happen for the reasons they do is, always an interesting sort of quandary, coincidence, or is it more than coincidence? Is it missing the word? Starts with an S, the word I'm looking for. If it happens to you, I see it as a coincidence, and you see it as the word I can't think of. I just have to let it go after a while. If I try and think of it, I'll just waste time that's better spent on other things. It'll come to me at 6:00 in the morning. I'll bolt upright and be like, I've got to call Rod Thunderheart. I remember the word. It's kind of like destiny. Kidney. Yeah, that's it. Take care, Red Walrus. TMNC 52. It's on the tip of my tongue. I want to say syzygy, but that's not it. Kismet's kind of close. It's an S word, which it means like more personal and deeper than coincidence. But I just don't remember what it is right now. Well, we got me past 300. I have some gifts to ship out tomorrow, so that's good. I want to thank everybody that's been in the chat for helping me get over the hump. Onward and upward to 350. And we will see you on Sunday for Cardinal Sin and Friends, if not sooner. I have seen The Adjustment Bureau. I think that's based on a Philip K. Dick story. I enjoyed the movie a lot. Yeah, me too. After the day that I had lying in bed, just trying to get this, second Moderna shot out of my system, I think I'm ready to hit the hay. But I do want to thank you guys again for being here and helping me get to 300. And we will catch you next time. So it's Cardinal Sin out.